Another day, another story. O people! Verily we made you of man and woman and made you nations and tribes, so that you may know one another, and the most honored before Allah among you is the most God-fearing. Verily, Allah is the knower, the knower. Quran, 49:13. Iman is tired of waiting. This Islam always makes her nervous. Today she almost froze to death waiting for him outside the school. As soon as he showed up, Iman rebuked her little brother. He reacted by hitting her with his fist. In the end they did not speak until the bus stopped. Quick, come on, there's a bus. Iman tugged at Islyam's sleeve and they ran. The children squeezed into the cabin and the bus started. They fought all the way there. Suddenly the driver announced, "End of the line." The brother and sister looked at each other in surprise. Usually it took them longer to get home. It meant that they had taken the wrong route. And the quarrel began again. "It was your fault we missed our bus," Iman shouted. "It was your own fault. You didn't look at the number. How are we going to get home now?" My little brother's voice trembled and tears welled up from his eyes. Iman looked around. While they were arguing, all the passengers had got off and the bus had left. They were in an unfamiliar neighborhood. There was no one on the street, only an old man walking slowly down the sidewalk. "Grandfather," Iman shouted, and they ran toward the pedestrian. "Can you tell us how to get there?" And she called out the street. The old man stopped and looked at the children with a slight chuckle. "Well, first of all, Assalamu alaikum. You are Muslims, aren't you?" he asked, looking at Iman's white handkerchief. "Yes, we are Muslims, alaikum alaikum," the brother and sister answered in two voices. "And how did you come to be here?" the old man wondered. The children began to talk, interrupting and accusing each other. "It is clear," said the grandfather and shook his head. Well, the buses go here very seldom, the next one will be late at night." "We'll have to call Dad," Iman said. "Maybe he can pick us up in the car." But her phone was out of juice. The old man pulled out his cell phone from his pocket. "Well, what's the number?" He called himself and explained everything to their father. He couldn't get there for another 2 hours. They agreed that the children would stay with Grandpa Asan, the old man's name. Asan Aga lived nearby. He gave the children some delicious tea and sweets, and then they prayed together. "Grandfather, are these your grandchildren?" asked the curious Islam, looking at a yellowed photograph on the wall, an older girl and a little boy standing holding hands. "No, son, that's me and my sister, Gulsum." "Where is she now?" "She died last year," Allah Rahmet Alizan, tears welled up in the old man's eyes. "Gulsum was a very good sister." "Did you ever quarrel with her?" Islam asked. "No, she was like a mother to me," smiled Asan Aga. Iman shrugged. "Like a mother?" "Yes, my sister was like a mother to me. At the beginning of the war my mother got sick and died, and it was just the two of us. My father was at the front, and my mother's sister took us in. During the deportation the soldiers drove us out of the house, took us to the train station, put us on a freight train, and we traveled a whole month to Tajikistan. It was a very hard way, yes." The old man sighed. "There was nothing to eat, everyone was sick. And my aunt got sick because she gave everything to her children, she had 3 of her own, and us too. She died on the road, and my sister, she was 12 then, took care of all us little ones. We snuggle up to each other, and she strokes everyone on the head, says a kind word to us, and it makes us feel better." The youngest brother, 3 years old, began to call her Mama, Anashka. Islyam looked at his sister. He suddenly imagined that they were left without parents, alone, expelled from their home, going into the unknown under a convoy of soldiers, amidst hunger and disease. "And then what happened, Grandfather Asan?" Iman asked. "There was life, my daughter," the old man smiled. "We all survived, praise be to Allah. Our sister taught us, we are one family and we should never leave each other. If it wasn't for a kind word, not caring for each other, maybe we wouldn't have survived then." The old man looked intently at his brother and sister. Islyam suddenly moved to his sister and rubbed his head on her shoulder, and she did not push him away, but on the contrary, put her arm around him with one hand and touched his hair with the other. Soon her father arrived. They parted with Grandpa Asan as a good acquaintance. As parting, the old man whispered to the children, "Love one another, help one another, and Allah will love you and help you in everything." The brother and sister sat in the car, quiet and peaceful. They had much to think about.